discussing them with Shiraz, who will be collating the responses.
Shiraz. Now, here are the results of research carried out by Beta Poll. It's raw data, so it's unprocessed and disorganised. It needs to be categorised and collated so we gain some clarity on how we'd utilise it. I'd like you to go through it and report back to me the overall results. And we need to know if the scheme is viable before we roll it out.
Okay, that's fine, Holly. I'll probably set up a spreadsheet to organise it all. Just a thought, how did the research company get these results?
Well, they did some field or primary research by putting up a table in the local shopping centre, stopping people in the street and carrying out door-to-door stuff using questionnaires. We're going to be getting some secondary research completed by going through the council's database, but Rishi will be covering that.
Right, I'll make a start on it. Once the spreadsheet has been set up, we'll probably need to get together to make sure there are no mistakes, identify any inaccurate or incomplete data, and correct any omissions where possible.
Well, yes, issues such as whether the data is relevant and actually relates to what we're doing, if we trust its reliability, and whether it's a true representation of the group we're aiming at. If it isn't, it would weaken all of our findings.
I'll get together with Rishi in a couple of days and we'll check to see if the results are similar. Then hopefully we'll get a better idea of its reliability.
Well, that's great. I'm glad we're on the same.
I'll start by checking what resources are available in the word processing package we use. There should be some template which will enable me to integrate articles, charts and photos and allow me to put articles in columns. I also plan to vary the size and types of fonts I use for different articles and add some color to make it more eye-catching. The article heading will need to be relevant but interesting enough to stimulate the reader's interest. I think the finished article will be very professional and should achieve the right result.
Yes, you need to make sure that all external documents...
As you probably know, Rishi is organising the staff newsletter this month. So he wanted to run some stories past you to get your opinions on the best ones to put forward for the final version.
Yeah, we have quite an interesting choice here. New food... Well, Julia's asked me to prepare this month's newsletter with your guidance, and she suggested that I discuss it with you first to establish the purpose of communication, the audience and the intended outcomes.
Okay, well, we're trying to improve communication with the Western Council so that every department knows what is happening in other areas of the organisation. Julia believes this is very motivating for staff as it enables them to share in the success of departments and gain a feeling of belonging. Staff can feel very isolated within their individual teams. So we ask every department whether they have any news. Then we pick the most interesting and relevant stories and ask marketing to put together a newsletter and circulate it in both a printed and electronic version. The printed version is for staff rooms and communal areas.
Thanks, Shiraz. That's answered my questions about the purpose.
Brilliant. Just got an email from Holly congratulating us on the draft presentation.
Great. It makes all that work we both put into it seem worthwhile.
She has mentioned a few changes we could make, but I really appreciate constructive criticism. Overall, the feedback is very positive. Yes, all purchases should be monitored to ensure they are justified and not over-purchased.
With the council.
Shiraz? I need some help with something Julia's asked me to do. Can I run it past you?
Sure, no problem. I'll help if I can.
Well, she's asked me to look around and find out if there are any innovations or changes I feel would be appropriate for the department, but I'm not sure where to start.
Yeah, she's asked me to do that too and get back to her by the end of the week, and I haven't got a clue either, to be honest.
I think one of the reasons why Julia's asked you both to do this is because it's part of your apprenticeship, and you are also both due your appraisal meeting with her, where making suggestions and putting forward ideas is part of the appraisal system for all of us. It is very important to keep up with what our competitors are doing. In fact, it's a good place to start your research.
That's a start. Do you mean other local councils by competitors? What else?
Yes, other local councils. Also, take a look at how we currently do things in the office, like how we work and the services we provide to both internal and external customers, and see if there are any improvements or changes that could be made.
But you guys have been doing this job for years. Surely everything works okay.
You would think that, won't you? But you'd be surprised. Sometimes it helps for someone to take a fresh look at how things can be done. It's difficult to be objective when you've been in a job for years.
We're assuming we come up with an innovative idea, then what?
Usually any new ideas are put to the team for their feedback before being put forward officially. Although, in your case, you just need to run them past Julia. If she thinks your idea or ideas are worthwhile, she will throw them at the team at the next week's team meeting to get everyone's feedback straight away.
Yeah, but what if she didn't like our suggestion?
Hello, sir. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Robert Perkins. I've got an appointment at 10:30 with the nurse for a flu injection, but to be honest, I'm actually quite scared of needles.
There is really no need to worry. The nurse is very gentle. I just had an injection myself and hardly felt a thing. The nurse is running a little late, so if you take a seat, I can get you something to drink. What would you like?
No, this isn't good enough. I've got an appointment at 11:30. Do you know how long this is going to take?
Okay, if you take a seat, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, okay.
Selina? Would you mind if this gentleman went through first? He's a bit nervous and is beginning to complain a bit. I know you have a quiet day and aren't in a hurry.
Yeah, that's fine. I know how important it is to meet customers' needs and expectations, and we want external staff to come back every year for the injection, so no problem.
Thanks, Selina. Sunny, how did it go?
Really well, thank you.
Excellent. You can fill in this feedback form for us.
Sure.
Mr. Perkins, you can go through now.
Oh,
It's fine, you can go first.
thank you.
Have there been any issues with the database?
Yes, it was obvious at first that the database did not provide the information its user needed. So Selina and I redesigned the system with Maddie's help, and now it works very well. It does what it says on the tin.
And how often is the system monitored? So do you often get long queues for visitors as you had this morning?
We do most mornings between 9:30 and 12, and as you can see, it can be a security risk if customers don't sign in and get a badge, and it can be disruptive to the organisation as a whole, as visitors are often late for appointments. We really need another monitor for visitors to sign in, but I don't have the authority to organise that.
Yeah, I guess that way we could keep a record of the visitors and we wouldn't have such a long waiting time in reception.
Shiraz, did you just let someone into the building without checking their ID?
I might have done. It was very busy, and I'm here on my own.
You're supposed to get them to hold their ID up to the camera. What were you thinking? You're responsible for the security and safety of everybody in the building. Can't believe you just did that.
Well, Rian, if you're aware of what was happening, then you should have challenged him yourself. I couldn't help that 2 phones are ringing and I have people waiting to talk to me.
The reason we have these security procedures is that in the past we've had undesirables gain entry into the council offices. We've even had people disrupt meetings with the Lord Mayor present. The CCTV camera was put there to stop this happening, and you decide not to use it. I just can't believe it.
Look, it was a mistake. I was busy and I forgot, okay? It won't happen again.
No, it won't. I'm going to make sure you're not left here alone again if you can't cope. I'm going to speak to Julia about this. Oh, hi, Julia. Didn't see you there.
Calm down, the pair of you. They're really... Never answers emails or gets back on the phone when I leave a message.
The rota was very helpful. And don't worry about spelling and grammar. It was excellent. Why don't you check Nurse Harvey's timetable to see when she's free, so you can catch up with her on the phone and aren't relying on her to call you back?
That's a good idea. I'll ask one of my HR team to email it to you.
Thanks, that would be great.
I'm looking at ways of making the reception area more calming, and I was thinking of installing a tropical fish tank with soothing pipe music in the background.
I really hate that sort of music. It really sets me on edge. I don't know why. A few of my friends feel the same. I know.